Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today I'm going to be recommending some books that have amazing asexual representation. Hi, hello, how are you? How you guys doing? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be filming today because it's Pride Month, first of all. My favorite month of the entire year, and today we're going to be talking about books that have amazing asexual representation. I have a lot of romance books that I'm going to be talking about that have characters that identify as ace, and I just feel like in romance books in particular, I love seeing that representation and I would love to see more of it. So these are just a few of my favorites. You guys already know I love talking about and recommending queer romances. It is quite literally my passion. I have been filming pretty much every other day to post different recommendations for you guys. I've already talked about sapphic romances, sapphic graphic novels, male romances, and so much more. So all of the videos will be listed down below if you want to check them out. But today is all about the ace rep. Let me get a little bit closer because I tried to do my makeup a little bit inspired by the ace flag, because truthfully the ace flag is like my favorite. I love the color combo of purple, gray, and white, but I don't think I did it justice because I used a lot of pink to kind of blend it out. For this whole makeup look, I used this eyeshadow palette from Juvia's Place. It's their Culture eyeshadow palette, and obviously like I used a bunch of these purples and some of the pinks, and it was really fun. If you're asexual, you have a gorgeous flag. I love it. Before we jump into all of the romance book recommendations, I actually do have a non-fiction recommendation for you that I highly recommend you checking out. The book is called Ace by Angela Chen, but the longer title is What Asexuality Reveals About Desire, Society, and the Meaning of Sex. This is a non-fiction book that goes into detail about one's individual experience of identifying as ace, not only what that means for them, but also kind of how it is perceived in mass media as well. It provides so much useful information and insight about asexuality, and for someone who doesn't read a ton of nonfiction, I won't lie to you, I'm not a nonfiction girly. I actually really did love this one. I feel like it was written in a way that was very informative but also pretty entertaining as well, and kind of kept my attention. So this is always like my first recommendation whenever I'm talking about books that deal with asexuality. And then I also want to recommend a creator to follow if you are looking for more ace representation in your books. Her name is Eloise. I follow her on Bookstagram. I'm not sure if she has like a YouTube or a TikTok, but if she does, I'll leave it down below as well. Eloise gives the best recommendations. She gives recommendations for asexual book representation consistently on her page. I feel like I have found the best books that have really good ace representation through her recommendations and her Bookstagram account, so I just kind of want to give her a quick shout out, and she'll be linked down below as well. All right, now we can jump into the romance recommendations. So the first one I have recommended so many times, but I truly love this series, and it is called Goal Lines and First Times by Eden Finley and Saxon James. This is a part of their CU hockey series. It is technically the third book in the series, but you can totally read it out of order. First of all, Eden Finley and Saxon James are two of my favorite authors ever. I have read so much of each of their individual backlists and have genuinely enjoyed so much of their books, but I love when they co-write. Like when they write together, I feel like magic happens. So this book follows our two characters, Cohen and Seth. Seth is our character who identifies as demisexual, which does fall under the ace spectrum. Character Seth has had a few relationships with women, and they went fine. They were cool, they were fine, but he really felt like he was missing that emotional connection with people, and he never felt comfortable really rushing into intimate relationships. So he goes through a breakup, and he is searching for more of that emotional connection and decides that he is going to join a dating app that is just for men. That is where he meets our hero Cohen, who plays college hockey, and he is also kind of exploring his own attraction to men, but is not really feeling super confident about it. So he decides to join this dating app for very similar reasons that Seth does. The first portion of the book is them matching on this dating website, meeting online, and really talking first and bonding over shared interests before they even meet each other in person. I really love the connection between our two characters because they're both at a place in their life where they're exploring their sexuality and they feel safe to do so with each other, and it's like a very special, sweet connection that the two of them have. It also has like a bunch of other tropes that I love as well. Obviously it's a sports hockey romance, it has a found family trope. The entire series is so great, so I would recommend any book in this series, but this one is really good. My next recommendation is actually a new release, and it is a sapphic romance. romance. It's called Kiss Me Maybe by Gabriela Games. This one follows our heroine Angela, who is a librarian, and she's also very introverted. She is nearing like her mid-20s, and she has never been kissed before. Kind of at a point in her life where she is ready to explore her sexuality and realizes that she does identify as ace. She goes on social media to kind of document her journey and creates this like scavenger hunt idea that is going to lead her to her first kiss. That is where our other heroine, Crystal, comes in. Angela meets Crystal because she is a bartender, and she's kind of had like a little bit of a crush on her, but never really like knew how to express that. Crystal ends up agreeing to help her to find someone to give her her first kiss, but like obviously they like each other. Heroine Angela is described as like a late bloomer, but I feel like a lot of people who maybe have discovered their sexuality later in life, or even people who came out as queer when they were a little bit older, would really resonate with her journey and everything that she feels in this book. And it is such a sweet romance, great representation, and it's a new release, so check it out. Another book with ace rep is called Cupid Calling, and this one is a male-male romance, and I really love the premise because it's kind of inspired by like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Two heroes kind of go on that type of show where they are a list of contestants kind of vying for the attention of one bachelorette, but what they don't expect is to actually fall for each other. There is a lot of like external angst and backstory going on, but the actual romance between the two characters is pretty slow burn and very, very sweet. I really did love this one, so check it out if you're looking for a book with ace rep. The next one that I love is That Kind of Guy by Talia Hibbert. The story starts off by following our heroine Ray, who is kind of in a new place in her life. She just recently went through a pretty bad divorce and is kind of looking to remake herself, find what makes her happy. She gets invited to go to an award ceremony, and she does not want to show up alone, especially because her ex-husband is gonna be there. So she decides to take her best friend Zach. Zach is kind of known to have more casual relationships. Not a lot of people take him seriously, but he has recently discovered that he identifies as demisexual and is really looking for that emotional connection with someone. He does have a crush on Ray, but she's a little bit hesitant at first because she's also older than Zach. I think she's like 12 years older, so this does have an age gap with an older heroine, which is like one of my favorite tropes, and it follows the romance as the two of them fake date. I think this book is so special and so well written. One, Talia Hibbert just knows how to write a romance, okay? Her romances are always very like swoon worthy, but this has amazing ace representation and amazing chronic illness representation, so it has like all of the things in this one book. It's so good. Highly recommend. Another contemporary romance with ace representation is Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. This book is very sweet and pretty emotional. It follows our characters Callum and Lark. Callum, our hero, is the one that identifies as ace. The story starts off with Lark, our heroine, kind of going through it. She lost her husband about 2 years ago, and she's just been grieving and kind of struggling with those emotions, and now she's kind of ready to maybe have a fresh start and start dating again. And she decides that Ireland is going to be her new fresh start. She ends up becoming really quick friends with her neighbor Callum, who happens to be a mortician. Family has owned this mortuary for years and years and years. However, his grandfather passed away, and there was a stipulation in his will that Callum had to be married to inherit the family business. So Lark agrees to help Callum find someone and get married, but of course they fall for each other. This is another one that has just so much good representation, not just ace representation, but our hero is also very shy and introverted and has a stutter in this book. He's so sweet. I love him so much, and I think you guys would like love this book as well. The next book I really loved was Bree Spells and Bridegrooms by Sarah Wallace. This one is a little bit different because it is a historical fantasy romance. This is a romance between a human and a fae. In this universe, status is based on the amount of magic that you possess. There's a test that everyone has to take to kind of judge their level of magic, and that will determine your ability to inherit your family's inheritance, the title that you are given, the jobs that you are given. everything in society is based on this, and it is definitely skewed in the favor of the magical supernatural creatures like the Fae, but a lot of the times the humans tend to not score very well and kind of are seen as the bottom class of society. Our hero Roger is a human, and he kind of wants to change that, so he decides to go to the magical council to kind of pitch an idea to create a new rubric on testing magic to make things a little bit more fair. Our hero Win is a Fae, and he does not get along with Roger whatsoever. The two of them have like an enemies to lovers type vibe going on. It is decided by the council that Win is going to help Roger with this project, so they are forced to work together, and if it goes poorly, it reflects badly on their families and to societies. And of course, this is a historical romance, so society perception is absolutely everything. This book is a slow burn, enemies to lovers that kind of goes into like a friends to lovers. Our hero Roger is the one that identifies as asexual, and it's just so good. When this book was recommended to me, it was described as if Bridgerton was a fantasy romance. Just put like Bridgerton with magic, essentially. That's what this book is. So if that sounds interesting to you, you'll probably like this one. Speaking of fantasy, the next one I would describe kind of like as adventure portal fantasy, if that makes sense, and it's Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire. This is the first book in her Wayward Children series, which is a pretty lengthy series of novellas that you can read in order or out of order, but in this universe, different worlds exist, and there are doors that can transport children, kind of like Alice in Wonderland-esque, of children disappearing and stumbling into doors of magical lands. The story does alternate between being told in the real world and also in these different universes. A lot of these children are taken to these different worlds and then very abruptly dropped back into the real world, and they kind of struggle to acclimate back into society. So there's a school called Eleanor's School of Wayward Children where all of these kids can go to either help them get back into like regular human society or to find their doors again. Heroine Nancy goes to the school. She is a character that found essentially the door to kind of like the underworld with like Hades and Persephone. She's so at home there and desperately wants to go back, but she has been dropped back into regular society. So she goes to the school looking for her door. When she gets there, something sinister happens and her roommate gets murdered, and her and the group of characters in this series kind of need to figure out what is going on. This is just the first book in the series. Nancy, our main character, identifies as asexual, but each book follows a different character, different worlds, different magics. I feel like I'm not doing this series justice by describing it because it's so incredibly unique and fantastical. I just love it. It's truly like one of my favorite series that I've ever read. But yes, the first book does have asexual representation in it. Next book is also in a series, and this is one that you have to read in order. I'm so sorry. And it's Heart Song by TJ Klune. This is the third book in the Green Creek series, and you absolutely cannot read it as a standalone. You would be so freaking confused. I don't even want to say like who the romance is in this book because it's actually a spoiler. One of the characters in this book identifies as Ace. Green Creek series is a very angsty and emotional male-male paranormal series that follows werewolves and witches, and it's so freaking good, but I can't even describe this book without doing spoilers. If you like paranormal werewolf romances, just read the whole series. The first book is called Wolf Song, and when you get to the third book, you'll have some amazing Ace representation. It's like the worst way to recommend this book. I'm so sorry, but like you have to read it in order, but I promise you the entire series is so freaking worth it. Next one is a YA sci-fi book, which is really fun. I read this one quite a while ago, but I do remember really liking it, and it's technically a duology. The first book is called Dare Mighty Things by Heather Kavinsky. It follows our heroine Cassandra, who gets entered into this space program. Essentially, the government is funding this huge space expedition that is going to send one person on this super mysterious outer space voyage. What's interesting though is that to enter this competition you have to be younger than 25 and incredibly smart and talented. All of these young adults and kids get entered into this program and it becomes a competition. So they have to pass certain tests in order to make it to the final round of this space expedition. Obviously our heroine Cassandra, or Cassie, ends up entering into this program. There is a romance though. I would say the romance is more of a subplot. Like the main plot of the book is the sci-fi element, but our heroine does identify as ace. She ends up falling for our hero, who is kind of like her academic rival in this program. So really cool, interesting sci-fi element to this entire duology. Again, it is YA and I read it a while ago. Do with that what you will. Next one is a contemporary romance by Claire Kahn. It is called The Romantic Agenda. This one is kind of interesting because it's not really like a love triangle. It actually follows 4 different friends, 4 different characters who are all kind of like intertwined and pining after each other. Let me see if I can like describe this plot without confusing you, because the characters are all kind of like intertwined. It's very messy. So these 4 friends go on a weekend getaway. It follows our main heroine Joy, who is asexual, and she is hopelessly in love with and pining after her best friend Malcolm, who also happens to be asexual. But the thing is like Malcolm really is not in love with her. He's actually in love with another one of her friends, Summer. Then Summer's ex is named Fox, and Malcolm and Summer decide to kind of like conspire together to set up Joy and Fox. So all the friends are doing matchmaking activities, friends to lovers vibes. It's really interesting. It's kind of just like a weekend getaway between 4 friends, and eventually it leads into romances. Lots of ace representation in this book. Claire Kahn has a couple of books, if I'm not mistaken, with ace representation. I know her book, Let's Talk About Love, is another contemporary romance that has great ace rep, so check out her books if you are looking for any books with asexual characters. Alright, I feel like I have been yapping for so long, and I'm also getting like super hot. I'm like sweating right now. I'm on this new medication that one of the side effects is hot flashes, and I am feeling it. And I need to have like my fan right next to me, but I didn't turn my fan on because you could hear it. My camera picks up the noise of the fan. It's kind of annoying when I'm editing. So I'm sweating. What we're going to do is I'm going to do some rapid fire recommendations. I'm going to list a bunch of books that have ace rep in them. A lot of these are contemporary romances, so you have even more books to check out, okay? So rapid fire. We're just going to go through them super quickly, kind of give you the titles, and if they look interesting, you can check them out. So one that I'm actually reading right now is called A Series of Rooms by A.J. Barlow, and this is an angsty male-male romance with a found family trope and also characters that identify as asexual. Another one is This Feast of a Life by Cynthia So. This is a contemporary romance where 2 characters meet after one creates a food blog, and the 2 of them really bond over their love of food and how it connects them to their families. Fantasy romance that I just started recently as well and is on my TBR is called Someone You Can Build a Nest In by John Whistle. Some more contemporary romance recommendations. One is Exes and Foes by Amanda Woody. Also The Many Half-Lived Lives by Sam Sylvester by Maya McGregor. Playing by Kathy Yardley also is a contemporary romance that has ace representation. Windy by Anne Zhao is a sapphic contemporary. I think this one is YA though. And then a really popular one with ace representation is Upside Down by N.R. Walker. Alright, sorry that we had to do some rapid recommendations at the end there. Your girl was sweating and my camera's about to die. I'm a hot mess express here, but I hope you found some amazing recommendations nonetheless. Please leave me your favorite books with ace representation in them. I know there are so many more that I haven't even gotten to yet, so please leave your favorites down below so I can check them out. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, leave me an emoji. Leave me a purple heart emoji for the ace flag in the comments down below, and I'll know that we're bookish besties and that you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Love you!